Hi everyone, welcome to today's webinar. My name is McKay Allen. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications at Conversa. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to be with us and to join us for this webinar today. We have a fantastic webinar with Mike Templeman of Foxtail Marketing, and we're excited that Mike's agreed to join us today. He'll start his presentation here in a moment. First, just a couple of quick house cleaning items. People often wonder who is Conversa and why do we do these webinars, so I'll answer both of those questions briefly. Conversa, we're a call analytics company, and essentially we do three things related to phone calls. Number one is we do attribution. That is, we marry phone calls to specific marketing channels, ads, campaigns, etc. So we can tell you what's producing calls and what isn't. Number two is we actually provide the analytics around phone calls. So we actually analyze the phone calls with voice recognition technology, and we can give you data relating to things like lead score for every phone call, conversion rate for every phone call, whether or not the call resulted in a sale for every phone call. The third thing we do is we provide automation. So we actually have workflow-based marketing automation built into our call analytics system. So this is HubSpot or Marketo-style marketing automation for phone calls. So calls can automate all sorts of actions, from emails and text messages to bid management changes for your AdWords system, or even alerts and notifications that go to people within your organization. So all those things can be automated. That's what we do. Second question is webinars. We do a ton of webinars. Why do we do all these webinars? Well, we like to have experts on, like Mike, who know their stuff, who know their field, and who can provide us with fantastic content. It's a great content marketing tool for us, number one. And number two is it allows you to learn really great best practices from some of the brightest minds in the world of marketing. And so that's why we do them. In terms of house cleaning for today's webinar, we encourage you to ask questions. You'll notice the little question bar in the bottom of your screen there in the GoToWebinar panel there. Just type questions into that screen. I'll read those to Mike at the conclusion of his presentation, and he'll address those. The other thing I would like you to do real quick, just so you can see where that question area is, just type in where you're calling in from today in that question area. And we'll get an idea as to where you all are, as well as let you know where this question area is. So we've already got some people typing in. I'm based in Salt Lake City. Mike is based outside of Salt Lake City. We have some people calling in from Pennsylvania, New York City, California. We've got Dallas. We've got Virginia on the line. We've got a lot of people on the line today. So thanks for being here, everybody. Emeryville, California. I see another one. So that's right across from San Francisco, across the Bay Bridge there. So thanks for being here, everyone. We appreciate it. The other thing to note is the webinar is going to be recorded. It's being recorded right now. So we'll send that recording to you via email. Probably tomorrow morning is when we'll send that out. And we already have Mike's slides available on SlideShare. We'll send those out as well. So with that, I want to introduce Mr. Mike Templeman. I met him at a conference in Vegas. Turned out our offices are very, very close to each other, and we didn't realize it. In addition to being the CEO of Foxtail Marketing, he's also a contributor to Fast Company, to VentureBeat, and to Entrepreneur. He has worked as a consultant before, and he's really become an expert in the space of demand gen. That's what his agency specializes in. They work with a lot of companies to help them generate leads and close business, which is really what an agency should do. So with that, Mike, thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it. I'm going to give you control of the screen, sir.
Perfect.
And
thanks.
Let me know when you have that. Perfect. Oh, there's Vanilla himself. Is that you, Mike? That's fantastic. You look beautiful.
We often get mistaken for each other, but that is the Iceman himself.
Well, he's looking patriotic too, which is appropriate this week. So that's great.
I know, right? Well, I am a Canadian, and today is Canada Day, so I guess
there you go. So there you go. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Well, Mike, thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate it. And go ahead with your presentation. And if there's any issues, I'll interrupt you. If not, we'll wait till the end for questions.
Sounds perfect. All right. So as McKay was saying, today's going to be on demand generation. Just real quick, obviously, you know, the little background on me. Along with contributing Foxtail Marketing, you know, we're one of the fastest growing agencies right now in the country. About 70% of our clients are in the SaaS industry. A lot of the other ones make up B2B, tech, services. We do have some B2C clients in there as well. But the core string that runs through it all is the demand gen, this idea of a full funnel marketing campaign that moves people to a buying decision and how to optimize for that. And so with that, let's just go ahead and get into it. So demand generation, as we're defining it, is marketing that causes prospects to enter your funnel, progress through towards the bottom of the funnel. I personally feel it must move the needle for leads. It has to be persistent. And it does not end when the sales team is involved. And we'll go over that in more detail, but that's something I'm very passionate about, is the idea of mixing sales and marketing, because I think that's the most effective thing for any company. So with most marketers, they are always obsessing about the bottom of the funnel. And obviously this is where the ROI and the metrics come in, where people can see close rate and conversion rate and lead numbers and stuff like that. So they're beaten up quite a bit to produce metrics from the bottom of the funnel. But if you ignore the top and the middle, you start realizing that it becomes a task to try and produce any real results there at the bottom. So we're going to focus on all three and some strategies to do that, and then some examples and some use cases for it as we go through. So real quick, let's start with the top. At the top, we like to use these channels for top of funnel traffic, and that is blogging, with social promotion, thought leadership, digital PR, and SEO can be included in here. SEO is pretty much a full funnel. It raises awareness, it also helps with the convincing, and then it helps close as well. So there's different stages for that, but just understand that SEO will be kind of persistent through all of this. Now with blogging, this is the one that a lot of people kind of hate, because everybody's tried blogging and most people don't get results out of blogging. McKay with Conversa actually has a cool case study that he's done specifically with their company, and I believe it was 150 blogs in 50 days. They did 3 blogs a day, and it ended up producing some phenomenal results for them. And really what you do see with blogging is there are some inflection points based on the volume that you're producing. Some tips that we give to our clients. One is everyone should be blogging. Google likes to see multiple authorships in your blogs, but also people like to see different voices and hear from different aspects of the company. And with that, we institute a lot of blogging techniques with our clients, but here internally, we produce about 10 blogs a week, and it's everybody blogs, everyone from the front-end interns all the way to myself. I produce quite a few blogs for the company blogs. Now, the blog should be engaging and fun. There's something that I harp on, and that is human-to-human marketing. It doesn't matter whether you're a business marketing to another business. There's always one human being on one end and another human being on the other end, and you should never forget that, because people want to be engaged. They want to have fun. Now, this is the part that a lot of people ignore when it comes to blogging. Blogging is not a field of dreams, set it and forget it scenario. You do have to promote them to get the most results out of them. Now, you will get some SEO results, but really to maximize what you can get, we do social promotion, and it's very cheap. It's campaigns that run on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn that are building awareness of the blog and promoting it out to your target audience. You do this by creating custom demographics or creating custom audiences in Twitter and Facebook. They allow you to do that, and you do that through email addresses that you've either accumulated or that you've purchased or anything like that. And I'll explain a little bit more how to do that in the end. Now, we will get into retargeting and remarketing further on down, but you have to ensure that remarketing and retargeting is set up on your site. Why? Because you're getting top of funnel traffic here. Yes, they're in your target audience if you're doing this correctly, but if you just touch them once with a blog post, they're going to be gone. They're going to leave your site and never remember who you are. So the trick is to inject a remarketing and retargeting cookie on their browser to get some kind of information. If you can get a call to action for them to subscribe to the blog and get an email out of it, you can do even cooler things when you actually have an email address from them. But remarketing and retargeting is essential. Thought leadership, this is ensuring that the C-suite, the VP level, really anybody in the company can do this. This is employee advocacy, but it's building up your team members as thought leaders. The 2 platforms that work really well are Twitter and LinkedIn. You have very engaged audiences there. It used to be Google+, still for some, but honestly, it's becoming more and more of a waste of time. And what you really want to do here is don't just be a repurposer or a rebroadcaster of other people's thoughts. It's taking your own thoughts and putting them on there. And don't, again, just give the company line, but rather what works really well with thought leadership is taking a very hard stance on news that comes up in the industry. Something comes up, give your feedback on it, give your thoughts on it, explain how you would have done things differently, or criticize. Honestly, criticism will cause conversation, cause interaction, and that leads to more sharing, more exposure. Yes, you're always going to have someone that doesn't agree with you, but that's what you want. I mean, Seth Godin's quote is, "The danger is not in standing out, but it's in blending in when you're marketing." So you want to make sure you stand out. So get the team involved in sharing as well, commenting and liking. Most of the algorithms on Twitter and LinkedIn have some things in there, some systems in place that if something is getting traction through shares and likes and comments, it will get more weight and more authority in people's news feeds. So it gives it more reach. So what we do here in the company is someone puts up something of theirs, a thought leadership piece or a post of theirs, and they put it up on Slack. Everybody goes, shares, likes, comments on it, and involves. We've had people disagree with people in the office and start conversations just like that. Again, you don't have to agree with everybody. With LinkedIn, there is the long form posting that you can do, and it's at the top. Everybody has access to it. You can basically post a blog there. What I would suggest is if you are going to do that, you want to post it on your blog first if you're going to be using it on multiple locations. LinkedIn does get it's the pulse feed, and that does get crawled by Google, and you can get duplicate content hits if you don't have the first publisher date on there. So you want to make sure first publisher is on your site, wait a few hours, then publish it on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has that pulse feature, which can move your posts to some really cool results. We had one client in particular, they posted on there. Through some sharing and some traffic, they were able to get about 40,000 views on the post. It was picked up by Pulse. It moved to the top of Pulse for that category, and it had resulted in 40,000 views. A lot of shares, a lot of likes. Now, what does that mean? Well, actually, they were able to track 6 sales opportunities directly to that post. 6 doesn't sound a lot, but their LTV is around 300,000 per customer, so really it had a huge ROI for them. And pairing it with a call to action at the bottom, don't be afraid to put in a piece of content that you have and say, hey, go download this here for more. Take an excerpt of one of your ebooks, put it on LinkedIn, and then ask people to download the full piece of content from your site. Or you can have them go to put a link to your blog and say, visit our blog for more information on this, and subscribe. Okay, digital PR. This is a little bit of growth hacking, I guess you would call it, but every company should be doing this. It's not for big or small companies, it's for everybody. And the way you do this is you create custom audiences in Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn for journalists and thought leaders. The custom audience feature in LinkedIn and Twitter, you can upload a certain audience to there. It can be as small as 20. With Twitter, it has to be a minimum of 500. And then you can push ads directly to those people. With LinkedIn, you can go in there and create an audience of people who work solely at Forbes or at MSN or at TechCrunch or any of these things. You can target the employees there. You can then go down and even say something to the extent of journalist as a job title. So you create that custom audience, and it'll get pretty small. But then you push your blog posts to them. Now you disguise them as press releases that tell a story. So you take your press release and you rewrite it as a blog post. Conversely, recently raised around, and a blog post about how Conversa is changing the call metrics market and some of the successes they've had and these types of things. You write that up, you push it out, these journalists and thought leaders read it, and it spurs them to dig a little deeper. They'll scratch. They'll ask you if they could ask some questions about it. They might just write their own story repurposed from it. We've had people get exclusives on VentureBeat, TechCrunch, MSNBC from these tactics. The budget is actually very small to do this. It doesn't require a lot. You can set a $500 budget a month just to doing this, and you will touch most journalists with your stories. It's a way to stay persistent in front of them without pestering them with the outreach emails that you have to do with PR and these types of things. It's incredibly effective, however. Okay, middle of the funnel strategies. Here's where you get into ebooks. I always suggest don't call them ebooks. People hate ebooks. Call them handbooks, guides, workbooks, 30-day success guides, these types of things. Make them engaging. Ebooks have a tired feel to them, unfortunately. White papers. Everybody loves white papers, in-depth analysis on the industry. Audits. These are landing pages that asks people questions, and you can give them a rating. You can have a basic JavaScript or front-end developer do this, or you can create a quick survey monkey if you have no developers at your company and just have them fill out forms and answers, and that's simple. Webinars, obviously, we're on one right now, very, very effective. And then create landing pages with capture forms, retargeting, and exit intent. And I'll go into that a little bit more in a minute. So the ebooks and white papers. First off, one thing you want to do is stop talking about yourself. We tell our customers and our clients to give until it hurts. You're teaching, you're educating with these things. You want to build your thought leadership, your expertise, but most of all, you want to build trust. Nobody wants to go pick up your brochure. So write something that fixes their problems, but be engaging. Also, be brief. 100-page ebooks, we've seen them. We've actually seen 300-page ebooks. They're dead. People want to read something they can read on the subway or before they go to bed or something like that. So 15, 20 pages, 30 pages, I mean, honestly, if that's getting pretty long, make them visual, have graphs, have text boxes, these types of things. And again, just going back to being informative, but most of all, be engaging. And what I mean by being engaging is a lot of people think that they have to write a dissertation on their industry and why their product is great and why their expertise are so high. But more than that, people, again, human-to-human marketing, want to be engaged. And I'll give you a case where we had actually two of them. We had two clients, one of them a Hadoop SQL database company, and then the other one a data analytics group for sales. Now, both of them pretty boring in terms of their product. So instead of writing about their product or even oftentimes writing about the industry, they went a different route. The Hadoop SQL database group, they wrote the top 25 hacks. Well, we wrote it, but they produced top 25 hacks for Hadoop and shortcuts and these types of things. What we did was we went out and we found 25 experts in that field, and we got them to give us their feedback, or we took stuff from their blog and asked for permission on that. And why that one worked out well? Well, all the experts helped promote it because it helped build their brand. Secondly, it was just really quick, easy read, and it was really engaging, so people loved it. The other group, they put together guides on giving the perfect demo and how to close deals faster with 100 tactics for closing sales faster. Again, short, to the point. People love lists. People just like to be engaged. You can take multiple blog posts and combine those into an ebook. That's a quick way to get one of those done, but be engaging. So the audits, they're good for standoff clients, people that you have trouble reaching. They're an awesome icebreaker for your salespeople. And the way we describe this is that they should be giving themselves, as you see here, a picture of a psychiatrist, but giving themselves a self-audit, asking them the questions that are very telling to really qualify them for your team. And then at the end, say, we will call you with your results. And it gets sent to a salesperson, and the salesperson can call, and they're not calling to sell. They're calling to give them the results and have a conversation. It's a perfect icebreaker. If they don't get a hold of them that way, email them the results. Again, you're giving real value to them. You're showing them some, maybe add some suggestions and improving certain areas that you notice are weak from their answers. Webinars. This is the one the first point is the most important. They always start small, but you got to stick with it. Webinars, I've seen so many groups give up because they didn't get a great attendance to their webinar. The point is that webinars compound. People that come to one webinar may want to come to another one, or they'll remember you and they'll keep coming. And at some point, when you combine that with retargeting, remarketing, email campaigns, these other tactics, you reach these inflection points. We had one group who went from their first webinar of 10 attendees to 6 months later, they had over 300 come to one of theirs. And that's because they started using all their other tactics. Another group we had actually broke their go-to webinar. They didn't have enough subscribers because they were used to around 20 to 30. For some reason, one of the messages really struck. They hit an inflection point, and they had about 300 or 400 people try and sign up. They were only on a 100-person subscription, and it was a great problem to have, but it looked really bad. They had to reschedule it. They fixed it, and it worked well for them. But you just keep going because you don't know when that will happen. Landing pages. A lot of people make this mistake. They just give stuff away for free. If you're giving something, ask for something. Based on the value of what you're giving, ask for something commensurate in return. So if you're giving an ebook, something that took a lot of time, something that's very helpful, ask for name, phone number, email, company name. You're totally fine doing that. If you're giving just a quick snippet of information, maybe an infographic or a quick slide deck, something of that nature, gate it behind, but only ask for an email in those situations because it's less valuable. Always have remarketing and retargeting on your landing pages. A lot of groups forget to do that. You should have remarketing and retargeting because they are obviously interested in what you're writing about. They're in your target audience. You want to continue talking to them. And again, I'll touch on retargeting and remarketing later if anybody has any questions about that. Install exit intent to give it away for free. I know I just said don't give anything away for free. If you're giving something, ask for something, but you still want people to get your information because, again, it builds that trust, it builds expertise, and it will reinforce the brand with them. So there's exit intent softwares out there. It's just a little cookie you put, or a little JavaScript snippet you put on a landing page, and when they are going to exit away, it says, hey, sorry, if you don't want to give us your information, that's okay. Here, download this for free anyways. And so you get pretty much an 80% conversion rate on downloads at that point because most people will still download it if you give it to them for free at the end, but get the ones you can. The A/B testing. You should always be testing. Always be testing ad copy, always be testing landing page copy, always be testing everything. Buttons, calls to action, titles, images, everything should get tested. Okay, bottom of funnel strategies. Now here's remarketing, retargeting. I'll get more into that. Marketing automation. Now I call these bottom of funnel, but really those are full funnel tactics. They move people from the top all the way to the bottom, but I'll put them here just to discuss with them. Then we're going to go over some custom audiences and then working with sales. So retargeting and remarketing, it's actually one of the most effective means of marketing. It has huge ROI for almost everybody. The clicks and interactions that you get on those campaigns are very cheap. So if you look at CRM, for instance, CRM software, a PPC click for a keyword targeted click on that for AdWords will run anywhere from $25 to $55 depending. And it's like that for most software. Data analytics, all these types of software is very, very expensive. A click on Google's display network will run you anywhere from 30 cents to $1.50, $2 if you're really specific. And so you can get them back to your site for a fraction of what it costs to get them there in the first place. Now, the reason you're doing that is because they came to your site for a reason. They're usually, if you're targeting correctly, they're in your target audience, so you want to keep your message in front of them. And there is this effect where subconsciously we don't recognize things until we see it 7 times. You know, the rule of that changes who you talk to. But there is that effect to where all of a sudden you'll start seeing this brand all over the place. If any of you have ever been to our website, you see us on social media, on every website where Google has an ad unit there. So you install the tracking cookies everywhere. If you have a property that your site owns, you should install your cookies there. The cookies that you should install, the ones that are like can't miss, Twitter and Facebook, and the AdWords cookie. Now I know there's a lot more, AdRoll, and there's a bunch of retargeting services, but honestly AdWords has about a 98% penetration, and Facebook and Twitter are the two that provide social media retargeting. You can do retargeting on LinkedIn, but it does require their pro features, and they actually manage it for you. And it's insanely expensive. If you've paid for it, you know you have to spend, I believe it's $1.50 per person per month that has that cookie on their site, which, just do the math, that can get insanely pricey. Now, the ads that people put here, a lot of people think, well, I'm remarketing, so let me get them to buy. Buy, buy, buy. Ask, ask, ask. If you're always asking, you're going to people are going to tune you out. So instead, keep giving. Again, give until it hurts. So do a display ad announcing your newest guide. Do a display ad about a webinar coming up. If it's remarketing to your target audience, you know that it's going to be money well spent. Have display ads for the audits, for free trials, for all of these things. And then mix in there, have in the mix, hey, let's talk, or fill out a form, or something of that nature. But make sure that it's not always just an ask. The more you can mix in other ones, the better the results you will get from retargeting and remarketing. Custom audiences. Everybody has email addresses. In fact, I'm we usually walk into most of our clients and they'll tell us they have 20 to 30,000 names. They've either purchased them or they've built them over the years, and we say, great, what are you doing with them? Well, everybody is blasting them with emails, and that's all they're doing. There's no segmentation or anything. What a lot of people don't realize is that with Twitter and Facebook becoming more and more popular, I hear clients say to us all the time, Facebook doesn't work for B2B. It actually has the best ROI for our clients, and Twitter does as well, because they link their business email to their social accounts so they can get notifications on their social accounts. The minute they do that, you can have access to their social account. And that means you can have access to it on desktop and on mobile, which is the holy grail of retargeting, is being able to target people on mobile, because a lot of mobile browsers don't accept cookies, so it's hard to track people. But Facebook and Twitter have almost over 80% utilization rate on their mobile apps, so people are seeing it there. So what you do is you take all these 30,000 emails that you have and you upload them into a custom audience in Facebook and Twitter. If you need to know how to do that, just Google it. It takes about 5 minutes to do. And then you put it in there, and then you create campaigns targeting just these people. Again, you had their email, you purchased it somewhere, you know they're in your target audience, so use it to show up in their social feeds. They may not make the purchase decision because of Twitter and Facebook, but you can reinforce the brand, you can get them to download content, you can get them to come to some of your events or your webinars, these types of things. Facebook is actually the highest ROI for our firm personally in terms of retargeting. Twitter is second, LinkedIn is third. LinkedIn is critical in everybody's, and I actually look at LinkedIn as more of a top and middle funnel than a bottom of funnel. Direct response ads on LinkedIn do not convert well. I'll tell you that right now. They do not. You can expect maybe a 1 to 2% conversion rate. Clicks on LinkedIn cost about $5 to $10, depending on how you're targeting. So you're looking at very expensive costs to get someone to fill out a form. However, it's phenomenal at targeting your audience. You can tell me that you want to only go after VPs of sales who work in this industry within companies that are this size and who have gone to this school and have these as hobbies. Sorry, not hobbies, but as this is a skill set. You can get crazy specific. So you get them to your site. If they download a book and they give you all of their information, perfect. That's a win. If they don't worry. You captured them for retargeting. So you use that $5 click or that $10 click to get them to the site. Now you'll use these 30 cent to $2 clicks to bring them back time and time again. And that's how you make it a valuable resource. So LinkedIn is critical. And yes, you can attribute, if you go full funnel, a lot of the closes to a first touch with LinkedIn. But you have to give credit to Twitter and Facebook for nurturing, because they are incredibly effective at doing that. Now, you can run very, very specific campaigns on Facebook and Twitter, which is actually quite a bit of fun. If you have an audience of at least 500 people, on Twitter you can run it. With Facebook, you only need 20. So what we've had clients do is upload their list of people that they saw at a trade show and create an ad all about the trade show. And they put up their logo and say, hey, it was great meeting you at Dreamforce. It was great meeting you at SMX. And all of a sudden, people react at a very, very high level to that, because you're getting kind of creepy good at your targeting, and they will give you props, and they will convert, and they will respond to those types of ads. So think about how granular you can get with custom audiences, and that's where moving them down towards the purchase decision. If you can get so granular, it is okay to ask for that that sales conversation. Marketing automation is critical. If you're not doing it yet, you really have got to be doing that, honestly. And you got to be spending time on it. We come across so many of our clients. We use Eloqua, Marketo, Pardot, Acton, Silverpop, HubSpot. I could go on and on and on and on and on. Personal favorite is HubSpot. I think it's one of the best UIs. It has one of the best tracking cookies for attribution. Marketo and Eloqua are obviously the ones of choice for the enterprise, and the other ones are all scraping for a piece of the market share. You need to use it for its full functionality, which is ensuring that all of the tracking ability is on there, that you are using it for lead scoring, that you have a drip campaign for all occasions. If someone came to a webinar, there's a drip for that. If they downloaded an ebook, there's a drip for that. A white paper, a different drip. If they subscribe to your blog, a different drip for that. All of these things should be in there. You should personalize them. Pick individuals at the company to send these emails from. Goes back to human marketing. People will react if you speak to them on a personal level. So instead of saying, Conversa would like to show you a demo, or Foxtail Marketing would like to show you a demo, say, hey, this is Jim, or this is Mike, or this is McKay, or something like that, and have that conversation. Do not use HTML optimized emails. Those things just don't work on mobile. They also get blocked by a lot of spam filters, and the best converting emails are usually short text-only emails. Use it to move people from the top of the funnel to the bottom of the funnel. The minute you get their email, whether you get that at the top or you get it at the bottom, you should be moving them down. And that is not always asking, but giving with slight reminders of who you are, what you do. So make sure your emails, there's that old saying that salespeople should never send a circle back or just pinging you or coming back to the conversation email, because they're not giving any value, and it's just pestering the client. But rather what they should do is give value with every email. So you see a lot of really good salespeople say, hey, here's an article I found. Wanted to see if you'd be interested in that. Oh, by the way, where are we on this? That's how your emails should be moving people down the funnel. Hey, thanks for downloading our guide. Here's a recent webinar we did. You can watch the video here. Thank you for downloading our white paper. Thank you for subscribing to this. Here's this. Here's this. Give it all to them. Give everything. Give as much content as possible. Marketo says 83% of B2B, HubSpot says it. HubSpot says 83% of B2B buyers are researching before they buy. So give until it hurts, okay? And then the part of just not being too pushy, know how to ask. You can ask in a footer. You can ask at the end of the email, but don't just email to ask, because that's just going to get you unsubscribed or spammed. Working with sales. Biggest part that a lot of companies forget. There is a blend that is happening. We don't know at which point sales and marketing, really separate nowadays if you have a fully integrated marketing funnel to a great nurture funnel on your sales teams with ADRs and whatnot. So you can create with your marketing automation personalized email campaigns for each sales rep to save them the time and effort, so that when they get to a point where a client says, contact me in 6 months, or I'm just not interested right now. Every one of those situations should have a form in your Salesforce or in your CRM. It should have a form fill out, and they categorize it as that. When it's categorized as that, it should immediately kick over to your marketing automation, and you have a preset campaign to keep moving those people down. If they say not right now, or they can't afford, then wait until 4 months down the road to send the first email. If it's just not right time at the budget, send the email at the next quarter. Think about these email campaigns. Put yourself in those in your buyer's shoes and think how you would want to be followed up with. Okay? Don't remove them from campaigns until they are sold, or unless they unsubscribe. But a lot of people have a preset drip that goes 4 or 5 emails. What happens after that? Well, they go on to the scrap pile because they never converted. Or truthfully, after the drip campaign finishes, if they have not responded, they should go into your long-term nurture, which is your newsletter or your blog post updates or something like that, until they either unsubscribe or they close. Those are the 2 options. They either have to say, no, I don't want to hear from you anymore, or yes. But if you haven't heard from them, you have to take that as a no answer, and you have to work towards one of the other ones. Give all the content that the marketing team uses and give it to the sales team. They want case studies, white papers, ebooks, infographics, slide decks. Why? Because they're going to share it with the people they're talking to, but they can also share it on social media. Social selling is becoming huge, and if these guys and gals have infographics and slide decks and these engaging types of pieces to share on LinkedIn or share on Twitter, they're going to seem more interesting, and it's going to go back all the way up to the top of the funnel and help build their thought leadership. It's part of working with the sales team, making the sales team members into thought leaders. So that covers the full funnel, some of the strategies in there. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. I know I went quickly over a lot of things, but I can go more in depth if there is anything. McKay, you can go ahead if you'd like.
Yeah, no, that was Mike. That was great. That was fantastic stuff. He really did a thorough treatment of demand gen in a short time, which is not easy. So that was well done. And I would echo everything Mike said as well. There's a significant amount of value that you can provide your prospects through just providing useful information for them. So whether it's data that you can provide them, whether it's content that you can provide them, man, there's a lot you can do for them that will spark them to give you their information and increasing information as they move down the funnel. So, yep, great stuff, Mike. Okay, we've got a lot of questions here, so let's just jump into those. All right, let me start here. So talk about ebooks. Compare those to white papers a little bit, Mike. I don't know if you have any data backing this up or if it's just opinion, but what are your thoughts on white papers versus ebooks? Do those definitions even matter anymore?
They do. I have noticed that some people expect to have a more clinical, more investigative look at something with a white paper, whereas an ebook can be fun, engaging. It can be really anything you want it to be. Now, you can make it's kind of that old SAT question, are all white papers ebooks, then are all ebooks white papers? But no, white papers should usually be kept to being more investigative and informative, and ebooks should be more engagement oriented. And we have had people kind of download a white paper that was miscategorized as a handbook or something like that and say, hey, this didn't give me any insights or in-depth citation or anything like that. So I would just say keep white papers informative, a little shorter, ebooks longer form, more engaging.
Great, that makes sense. What about specifically for companies that are just getting started? So if you've got a very small email list, how do you even begin this process? Do you have to spend money at the outset, or are there content methods that you can use at the outset that will sort of jumpstart your engine, if you will, when you don't have that large of a database to begin with?
Mm-hmm. So the ones that are the easiest to scale up on the lowest budget would be blogging, because you can get the resources internally to write for it. To give you some idea on what we've tracked ourselves, we've initially started blogging once a day back when we first launched the company. And our traffic grew and grew, and then it plateaued. We then went back to once a week, and our traffic actually never dipped. We then moved in one fell swoop to just kind of go nuts, and we now blog 10 times per week. In the 2 months that we've been doing that, we saw a 300% increase in our organic traffic, and that's actually very, very significant because we had really good traffic to start with. We've also had about a 200% increase in just inbound leads that we've been receiving from there. So if you can blog as much as possible. That's a great way to start. Have a call to action on the blog for people to sign up to get insights. If you go to our website, you'll notice there's a little pop-up that says, do you want some free marketing tips? Well, we capture tons of emails from that, and that's how we build out our list. And then the other way is to create something that makes them want to give you information. So an ebook, you could task someone in the company to put together an ebook, or like I said, grab 5 or 6 of your best blog posts and merge those into an ebook, put it up on a landing page that requires an email, name, phone number, and start building your list like that. Promote that socially. If you don't have a big budget to promote that, then go into LinkedIn groups, write ebooks that involve experts in the field, and then let them know, and they will usually promote it for you for free to their 20,000 Twitter followers or their 50,000 LinkedIn followers. That's a great way to get a lot of traction very, very quickly. We're working with a group right now on developing a big rock piece of content. We call it a rock because it's what you build everything else upon, but it's called the Inside Sales Bible, and it is an in-depth look at different aspects of inside sales, each chapter written by a different expert. And it's taken a long time to put it together, but the buy-in we have from these people and the amount of followers they have, and every one of them saying, we're going to promote the heck out of this, it's going to hit in a big way with almost no budget behind it. After that, we will be doing paid budget to increase that, but that's like a sneaky way of getting a lot of organic reach for your content.
Perfect. Talk about retargeting a little bit. I'll give you our example, Mike. So we've had limited success with retargeting. It's really, I think, a great branding activity, but we've had a hard time actually generating much in terms of lead gen from retargeting specifically related to banner ads. And we haven't done a ton of Facebook retargeting, for example, but we've got a lot of people asking retargeting questions. Any best practices for retargeting, and is our experience common, or is that on the low end of the curve in terms of how we're performing with retargeting and not actually generating many leads from retargeting banner ads specifically?
No, actually, that's a very common concern, and the reason that you can usually identify there is because you're asking. If you're constantly asking for the sell, for the sale rather, people are going to start tuning you out. So instead, we give. So we have a lot of retargeting ads, but very few of them are actually demands on their time. Most of them are us giving them additional information to build that that relationship. You're going to notice that if you turn off your retargeting, your organic traffic and direct traffic are going to drop, because even though they may not be directly clicking on your retargeting ad, they are seeing your brand and it's making them come to your site. So retargeting should always be up. Again, it's great for branding, but if you're asking, if you're giving, that's going to start increasing the efficacy of your retargeting. And the way you'll measure that is you will notice that as you start putting in these other pieces, starting to give away with your retargeting, you'll notice that your organic and direct leads start increasing significantly when you're doing that. Also, image use is huge. You'll notice a lot of our ads have very bright colors, expressive people. In B2B, for some reason, people think that boring is efficient, and it's not, and boring is effective, and it's not. Don't put up the typical gears turning image that everybody uses in B2B, and don't put up the typical chart moving upwards on B2B. I mean, those images are so played out.
Right. They're so played. I totally know what you're saying. I can picture the chart upward.
Oh yeah.
That's
and that's the thing, is nobody even recognizes those anymore. We've already identified that people have banner blindness. They don't even look to those things. And if you're giving them banner blindness on top of giving them the image they've seen 100 times, you're just going to blend in. And that's another point on that, is with AdWords retargeting, yes, it can be tough because they put their ads where banners are, and people have trained themselves not to look towards where banners are on websites. If you go out there and look at banner blindness, you'll see heat maps where people's eyes literally do not touch the areas of the page where banners are. However, with Facebook and Twitter, it injects your message directly into their newsfeed on both of those, so they can't get away from it. And 90% of the time, actually 99% of the time, the only way to identify it is that it has a grayed out text that says sponsored. But if you make it engaging, they won't even see it as an ad. They'll see it as, oh, look, a new article to read, or hey, a study's been done on this, or hey, I might want to go look at that infographic. That's why Facebook and Twitter are so dang effective, is because they put it front and center and people can't avoid them.
That's great. That's great advice. Mike, thanks for taking the time today, sir. We really, really appreciate it. Really good content. This is, we've done a ton of webinars. We've done about 250 webinars over the last couple of years, and you have some fantastic, good tactical advice, and I think that's what everybody's after. So thanks for taking the time to prepare a great presentation, Mike. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you, McKay.
Everybody, thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate your time. We are hosting a webinar tomorrow with a partner of ours called Ring Partner. We're going to be talking about why call duration is not a good measure of lead quality for phone calls. So please join us for that webinar. You can learn more about that on our website. And Mike, any final thoughts before we close up today?
No, I think I hit all the points that I wanted to go off of. I'll just leave with a nice picture of Vanilla Ice, and everybody have a great 4th.
That's a great picture. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful 4th of July, or Canada Day, I suppose. So thanks again, everyone.
Yes.
Bye-bye.